What direction are you going? I'm talking about particularly in your business, because ultimately, if you don't know where you're going, how on earth do you know how you're going to get there? And you may be thinking, what on earth, Sarah, are you going on about? And I'm talking about business direction. This is something I so frequently have conversations with prospective new clients about, because ultimately, so many businesses, whether you're a startup, whether you have been going for a period of time, seem to be at a point where they are either stuck, not growing, or just do not know where they are headed. And part of that is down to the fact that they do not set out what goals they want to achieve and how to achieve those goals, right? They don't put out the pathway. And I had this discussion recently with one of my clients where she didn't have a business plan, or what I call a business growth plan. And her reason for not having it was because it was only her. She had no staff, so why should she prepare a business growth plan? Now, one of the key things is to be able to potentially achieve a goal. You have a higher chance of achieving that goal if it is written down. But you have an even higher chance of achieving that goal if you actually set out a plan as to how you are going to then achieve it. And you then are basically breaking it down into bite-sized chunks that you are doing bit by bit to gradually hit that goal. Now, this to me is the main purpose of a business growth plan. Now, business plans are often needed when you need to gain finance in your business. And that tends to be the only reason why a lot of businesses then prepare one. They don't do it in many other circumstances. Now, to me, that makes absolutely no sense, right? Because actually, to me, a business growth plan, as I call it, is a working document that you have which supports you and your business. But it's also a document that ultimately you are consistently referring back to. It's an ever evolving document. It's not something you draft and then leave in the drawer for the next 3 years and do nothing with it. It is an ever evolving document. It is where you stipulate things like a business summary. So your business summary is basically a brief description of what you do, where you're based, things like potentially your values, but it's a summary. It's not a detailed page, right? But also, one of the most important parts is, as I said, this is where you set your business goals. One of the most fundamental business goals that you can actually write down is, what are your business financial goals? Whether that's in the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, up to 5 years, sort of your general long-term potential goal of what you want to achieve. Now, your business plan does not need to be planning step by step everything to be able to reach your 5-year goal. It doesn't need to go as far as that. Even if it is a business plan that looks for the steps to achieve your goals for 12 months or 2 years, that is more than enough in which you need to be able to plan out how you're going to achieve it. But you should still have written down what your goals are between the next 2 to 5 years as well. For example, I have had with a recent client where we've actually looked at the short-term goals of what she wants to achieve in the next 1 to 3 months, next 3 to 6 months, and 6 to 12 months, all within the short-term bracket, but breaking it down into those chunks. And then we're looking at midterm, which is 1 to 2 years, And then the long term is past that point, which is the 2 to 5 year point. But you still set down those goals. And then what you need to be able to do is say, okay, I want to hit, say, for example, 150K in my business, 500,000 in my business. Well, the next point is, how are you actually going to achieve that? And then you have to reverse engineer that figure. So you're then looking at the services you offer, look at your high ticket items, look at what your average transaction value is, and work out of those potential services or products, okay, how many do you need to sell of each to be able to hit your target? Now, I would break it down on a monthly basis. And also, if you're aiming for a higher level in terms of your turnover, that do it on a gradual basis. So, you could turn around and say, oh, I want to be able to hit, say, 15K a month, but at the moment, you're only on 2 or 3K. You're not going to start your growth in terms of next month, I'm going to hit 15K. It needs to be a gradual process so that when you get to nearer the end of the year, that turnover goal is going to be higher each month to be able to reach your end kind of annual goal. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, right? But you need to work out how many clients do you need of particular services to be able to hit those monthly goals. And this needs to be stipulated in your business plan, because then what you need to do from that point, which is then something that is then in your marketing plan, is how many leads do you need to be able to actually get that level of customers. And when I talk about leads, I'm talking about prospects, I'm talking about potential customers, because 9 times out of 10, you will not convert all of the people who make inquiries with you, who are your leads, who are your prospects. There will be many that will turn around and say no, or not now, or whatever the answer may be. So you need to be able to, when I talk about knowing your numbers, this is where I am talking about not just knowing what your profit and your turnover is, but this is also about knowing what your average transaction value is. It's knowing about what your conversion rate is. So, when you look at how many clients you've got, how many leads have you had, and how many of those have then converted? What percentage are you at? Because when you know that percentage, you can then work out roughly how many leads you need. Because if, for example, you're converting 50%, which is actually a good conversion rate, by the way, you then know that, for example, if you need 10 customers of a certain type to be able to hit your financial target, you therefore then need 20 leads, right? Or if you need to have 100 targets, 100 clients, if it's a low volume product or low value product, you're then going to need 200 leads. And when you know how many leads you need, you can then construct your marketing plan in terms of the activities and the campaigns that you're running to actually be tailor-made to achieve those leads for those specific products, rather than it just being random, right? This is why it's so important that when you're doing marketing and when you are running a business and you want it to grow, actually doing this detailed strategy is really, really important. You may think, well, it's a waste of time. I don't have the time to do this. Well, you need to make time, because if you are stuck in your business, the main reason why I suspect that you are stuck and you're not growing is because you've got no direction. There's no goals that's been set. There's no pathway that has actually been written down as to how you're going to reach those goals. And your marketing plan and your business plan work hand in hand together, because ultimately you need to know where you are going. If you don't know where you're going, you don't know how you're going to get there. And it's also, for example, you look at your personal goals. If you've got a goal to have a house out in France, right? That's a personal goal. Well, how much money do you need to generate out of your business to be able to achieve that goal? When do you want to achieve that goal by? You can then work that backwards, reverse engineer it to be able to ensure that your business helps you obtain that goal. That is part and parcel of the reason why you have a business, is to be able to help you achieve these personal goals. So make sure that you have specific direction in your business. What are your goals? How are you going to achieve them? What is your average transaction value? How many of those services or products do you need to be able to hit that financial target? And therefore, how many leads do you need to generate? And what are your strategies that you are going to put into place to actually achieve those leads, to get you those clients, to hit that financial goal? Now, if these are the sorts of things that you are really struggling with right now, then this is an ideal opportunity to be working with me. Now, I have purposely set that on a one-to-one basis, that there is a limited amount of one-to-one client places that I have left currently on my books. But I am still running at the moment the business review at half price. So if you are interested in being able to put these strategies into place, to be setting your goals, helping you actually achieve those clients, even in the current economic climate, then what you need to do is get a business review booked in now. So if you're interested in a business review, please make sure that you put in the comments business review, or feel free to DM me, contact me. In terms of, you can pop me an email at info@sljconsultancy.co.uk, contact me, get yourself booked in for a business review, which is still running at the 50% promotion for a limited time only. Then make sure you get yourself booked in. Let's work out what direction you want to be heading. How many of those clients do you need to obtain to hit that financial goal? And what marketing strategies we need to put into place to be able to reach that. Make sure you get yourself booked in. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a fantastic afternoon.